Yeah, Tay, I'm learning Navajo in the hopes that come June I'll be able to join Saddleback Church to do a mission trip to the Navajo in New Mexico. Anyways, this is Healed by Faith 2000 podcast, and I'm going to try and keep it to 5 minutes on this time. Three things that I want to go over: step study that we're going to be beginning today, four Zoom Celebrate recoveries that you could join, and my meltdown yesterday on Sunday. And okay. Um, the step study, just a real quick introduction. Basically, the way the step study conducted is you have a worship song, at least one, and then you read a devotional from the Celebrate Recovery devotional, and then you have prayer, and then you have introductions. So in my case, I would introduce myself as a believer of Jesus Christ, because I am. My name, Jose Geary, and my addiction, suffering from grief and guilt with a victory over suicidal thoughts. And then you go around, introduce yourselves. You're welcome to pass if you feel you need to, or just if you're not a believer, you don't say that. And then you begin with the Celebrate Recovery book number one. And the goal is to be able to finish this within the year. And depending on how big or how small the group is, it can. My group finished it in 7 months, I believe. So it's about average, I guess, truthfully. But some groups can take 14 months. And again, everyone has 5 minutes. There's guidelines that are read. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. And there is no crosstalk, and there is no judging. No one's being judged, and no one's being fixed. You say what you need to say, and it needs to be a safe place because people need to be able to say that secret that they haven't been able to share with anyone else or anywhere else. So when you're done with all 26 lessons, you graduate and you give a testimony, and you hopefully you become active in the leadership in some way, shape, or form. Not necessarily in leading a step study, but in just volunteering at the Celebrate Recovery. So that's just a quick introduction to what a step study is. And since it was started about 32 years ago in '91, I believe, there are 7 million people who attribute their recovery in a hurt, habit, or hangup to Celebrate Recovery. And that was started by John Baker and Pastor Rick Warren from Saddleback Church, famed author, Purpose Driven Life. Okay, so the four Zooms that Celebrate Recoveries that there are on Monday. Actually, I'm trying to hurry because I want to join the South Park, Chicago, Illinois Zoom CR, and you can look at the description for links to the churches so you can get their Zoom link. And on Wednesdays, there's one at noon from Saddleback itself. And usually it's hosted by either Mac Owen or Johnny Baker or one of the national team or global team reps, such as Megan or Rodney. And that's only an hour. And then Wednesday night, uh, Fresno, one of the churches in Fresno has Celebrate Recovery and Zoom. And then Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock Pacific time, Bel Air Church has their Zoom. And that's who's sponsoring tonight's Celebrate Recovery step study. I'm one of the leaders. So that's what I wanted to just share out there real quick. The meltdown that I had yesterday, very untypical of me. I went to a Chinese market and I have been this. I've been on this depression diet. It's really what it is. Intermittent fasting. I eat once a day, and I was at the market. I got some stuff that I wanted, and miso soup primarily. And they had a deli, so I got some food, and I sat down. Well, apparently, I sat down in the, I don't know, upper class area. I had not gotten my food from that particular little deli venue, and the little lady, Chinese lady, said, "Sir, you can't sit here." And I was like, "I'm sitting down. I got my food. I don't know what her problem is." And but I ignored her. I was hungry. I was in a bad mood, and she comes over and she starts telling me, "You can't sit here. You can't sit here." And honestly, what went through my bones, to be honest with you, was um, I don't know how to say this. It was almost like I don't want to say reverse racism. I don't know. It was just I felt like Rosa Parks at the bus. It's like I'm not moving, you know. And I told her that. I says I'm eating. I bought it. Leave me alone. And she came and bugged me again. And I felt bad because she kind of reminded me of my grandma. And I told her off. And I was like, oh my goodness, I did that twice because she just kept bugging. And now I was super irritated, and that's putting it mildly. And some lady that was really nosy, she was Filipino, I think. She reminded me so much of the nurses that had been taking care of my mom. And she mouthed off, and she's like, "Sir, that was very rude." And I just went off on her. And um, it's not typical of me. It's atypical. It's out of character. And I was so upset. I was boiling. I got up and walked out, and I cursed her all the way out. And I moved my car. And I'm ashamed of this. I moved my car to a position where I could see where she when she came out because it was only one exit, and I was just waiting for her to come out. I didn't know what I was going to do. Honestly, I felt like running her over, and I was like, I don't care what happens. I don't care. I wasn't thinking about jail or her, what I was going to break. And I was just, I was really, really in a very violent mood. And I was like, this isn't me. It was like having an out of body experience. And I turned on the AC, really cold, and I put my worship music on and I was praying. It's like, get me out of this. It's like, is it because I saw these horror movies and I did reviews, or because what is the deal here? And as soon as I prayed, it popped into my mind. So I knew it was divine inspiration, was the holy, telling me. It had nothing to do with the horror movies. So, watching The Nun too, which was almost a comedy, or The Haunted Mansion, which was a comedy. But it was a step study that popped in my mind, and step study. Where did that come from? And I called a brother that I know for over 20 years, not Celebrate Recovery, and he didn't answer. So I called someone else in my accountability group, and he answered, and I thank God he did. And he's known me for 30 plus years, so it was probably the perfect person to call. And we just talked. And when this lady came out, I was like, "Oh, she's right there. Oh my goodness! If I wasn't talking to you, I would rear end her." And I'm like, "This isn't like me, though." And what happened, the reason it's funny is because there was a scene in, I don't know what movie it was, but Kathy Bates is this older woman, and she's about to go to the mall, I guess, and some blonde in some sports car cuts her off and takes the parking spot. So she rear ends her, and she goes, "Honey, I'm older than you, and I got more insurance." But it's not funny. And the reason I'm saying this is because when I put out there on text threads that I belong to Celebrate Recovery for prayers primarily for prayer, somebody said, several people said, it's no surprise Satan is messing with you because you're leading the step study on Monday, which is tonight. And, it made me realize, it's like, wow, the spiritual battle, it's real. And I started praying for the people that said they were interested in this, because if I'm going through this, how are they being attacked? So, I'm at 8 minutes. I apologize. But I really just wanted to share that with you because, again, it's out of character for me. I cannot believe, I don't know if I've ever had rage, just pure unadulterated. It's like one of those disgusting drinks. I never had it, but it's just pure unrefined caffeine. Uh, and it's just, it was just so real. I mean, I don't know if that woman knows how close she came to being hurt, severely hurt. And at the same point, I don't know if I've ever really realized how close I came to being hurt as a school teacher. I was, teaching in inner city. It was Norwalk, but it was in the really bad area. So bad that, I got transferred in there, and the kids, the city, I mean, the school district gives you the tests. Every teacher, I was teaching fifth grade. Every fifth grade teacher in the district teaches the same books and the same test, and these kids were failing. And they were like, "Well, what this guy?" Because I went in second semester, and to that school, and I was like, "I don't know. They're failing. So supposedly they're stellar kids, and they get A pluses from previous teachers and all this and all that." Well, they were passing them along, is what happened. But during a principals meeting, principals have the school site council meeting once a month, and the parents went there, and my grandma would say something. She said, in Spanish, "No tienen vergüenza." You don't have any shame. These parents had no shame. They made it clear in front of witnesses, and they didn't care. They said, "You get rid of this guy, or we're going to kill him." So 2 weeks after that, the principal walked me to my car. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I felt like a little boy being taken to the bus. It's like, it's like, what did I do wrong? I'm not the problem. And then one of the parents gets into a car accident. I don't know if she was drunk or fell asleep. I don't know. Supposedly she fell asleep. Who knows? And, you know, I send her flowers, and all of a sudden people's attitudes changed. I didn't do that because I was trying to earn brownie points. I did it because it was the right thing to do. I've always read the Bible. I've tried to live a Christian life, and this was part of what Jesus said. Turn the other cheek, and it hurts. It hurts when you turn the other cheek. I wish I had turned the other cheek with this poor woman, both the Filipino as well as the little old lady. But you know, yeah, I feel so ashamed. But the whole point of this is the battle against Satan is real. And I really hope and pray that if you're listening, I appreciate it. And join us, Celebrate Recovery, either on Zoom or find a local one, and check it out and get into a step study so you can begin to heal. When I first took a step study, it was with the Custer Cathedral, the men's group there, and I remember in step 4 or 5, you're supposed to just pour out your heart to your accountability group, and I mean, I wasn't a drug addict, I wasn't a sex addict, I wasn't an alcoholic, but whatever I said, I was on my knees sobbing, and I thought they were pouring holy water on me, being jerks or something, And I look up, and they're all bowing their heads, and they're praying with me, and it was sweat. It was just pouring out. I was like, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. It was like having again an out of body experience. It was like, is this for real? I mean, and it is. We have, Satan wants us to think that we have that one dirty little secret nobody else has, and that's not true. We all have it, but that's how he keeps us in bondage, and we need to be able to just get some stuff out that we've never had been able to share. And again, Celebrate Recovery is a safe place. We don't judge, we don't fix, we don't crosstalk, and I encourage you to be able to get into one if you have issues from anything. Whatever's holding you back from having a pure life, you need to be able to share it in an accountability group where you're safe. So, like and subscribe and get some healing. Thank you. God bless you.